Assalamu alaikum students. In the last lecture, we already discussed about functions as well as function data type and about declaring function variables. In this lecture, we will discuss about operators which can be used for function type variables. Therefore, topics to be discussed in this lecture are operators for function variables, which include function overriding. Then we will discuss about function applications and we apply relational image for functional application. And at the end of this lecture, we will discuss about the special kind of functions known as constructor functions. Students, we have already learned that functions are special kind of relations where the first element of each order pair doesn't appear twice. Therefore, the notions of domain, range, domain subtraction, range subtraction, domain restriction, range restriction, inverse, and composition operator are applicable for function type variables because function type variables are also relations. Note that the inverse of a function might not be a function. Similarly, you know that function variables are also sets which contain order pairs. Therefore, the operators for sets are also applicable for function type variables. But it must be noted that a union of two functions might not be a function. Students, I already mentioned that all the operators which are used for relation variables, which include domain restriction, range restriction, domain subtraction, range subtraction, relation overriding, relational image, and inverse are also applicable for function variables. And here in this lecture we only discuss about the function overriding operator. The function overriding operator is used to update the information in function, and it also used to combine the information contained in function f and function g, and we simply represent the overriding operator with this circle with plus. And to get the return value of the overriding operator, we can use this formula, which include the domain subtraction operator and union operator. By using this formula, we can update the information in function f, and updated information is given in function g. So by using overriding operator, the return value would also be a function. Students, in order to apply the function overriding operator, we must have two functions as an argument. For example, f and g are two functions, and the type of both the functions must be the same. As you can see in this slide, that the function f has a type a to b, and the other function g also has the same type. And after applying the function overriding operator, the return value would also be a function of the same type. So whatever we get returned by applying the operator would also be a function, and the type of that function would be the same as function f and function g. For example, we have a function f containing 3 order pairs, and function g has only 1 order pair, and you can see that the first order pair is mapped to x, and in the updated function it is mapped to y. So the return value would be the updated, and the rest of the order pairs would be unchanged. Now consider a practical example from a library management system where a function variable old represents books issued to persons. In this way, function variable old is declared on set of all possible functions from books to persons, and it contains 4 order pairs. For example, book number 29 is issued to Joe, and so on. And there is updation in issued books, and this updation is represented by a function variable new, and it contains value uh, with 2 order pairs. Now the book number 29 is issued to Jim, and there is another book 95 which is issued to Joe. Now by applying the overriding operator on both the functions, what we get is another function. As you can see that in function old, the book 29 was issued to Joe, and after updation and by applying the overriding operator, now the book 29 is issued to Jim. And there is a new book 95 which is issued to Joe, which was not present in uh, function variable old. So this order pair is a part of the return value of the overriding operator, and rest of the order pairs would remain unchanged, and it would be a part of the return value of the overriding operator. Students, you are given 2 functions. The first function is old and the second function is new, and both the functions are taken from the library management system, and both the functions are declared on the set of all possible functions, which are actually from book to person. And you have already seen the solution of this overriding operator for both the function in the previous slide. Now you need to solve this example using formula given in slide number 5, which actually use the domain subtraction operator. So you need to get the answer from the formula, and you should verify with the answer given in the previous slide. Students, you are already familiar with the idea of building function in different programming languages, and you know by passing values of parameter you get the return value from the function, and the passed value in function is known as argument, and same idea is used in formal methods which is known as function application. So finding the single item associated with an element by a function is called function application. For example, we have a declaration of function variable length2, which is declared on function data type from book to person. And if we pass a single value or single input value from domain, which is book, and if we pass this value to function length2, which actually denote the person to whom the book B has been lent. So in this expression, the value B is called the argument of the function application, and length2 B is the value of the function for argument B. And in another example, if we have a function variable is square root, and if we pass a value 9, then the return value would be 3. Students, by passing an argument to a function, we get a return value, which is actually a unique return value. And this unique return value can be described by using definite description. The sign mu is the definite description symbol. The definite description must denote a unique value, and whenever we pass an argument to a function, we get a unique value, and therefore definite description operator or symbol is appropriate for its representation. The function application notation is equivalent to a mu definite description, and mu is associated with the returned type. For example, if we pass an input value as an argument to function length2, as you can see that here we pass a value B of type book as an argument to function length2, then its returned value must be of type person, because person is a set of outputs for the function length2. So we associate mu with the output type person, and this is a basically a mu representation for the output value whenever we pass an input value as an argument to function length2. Students, we have already discussed that all the operators which are used for relational variables are also appropriate for function type variables. Therefore, relational image operator is more appropriate for function application, because relational image operator return us the output value against the passed argument to a function. Therefore, if we pass a value B of type book as an argument, then we will get returned the output value of type person in the form of set. And another advantage of relational image operator is that we can pass more than one value as a set as an argument to a function, and we can get the output values against the past input values. Students, let us suppose that requirement analysis reveals the requirements for library management system we had formed, the opinion that the librarian made a firm distinction between fiction books and non-fiction books. Therefore, we need to declare basic data type which is fiction and non-fiction. So we declared two basic types, but problem is that for a library management system we need a fundamental type book, and we cannot apply the set union operator because fiction and non-fiction are two different types, and by definition union of two similar type of sets is possible. Therefore we need another kind of function which are known as constructor functions. Students, constructor functions are used to merge declared basic types into a new type. Therefore, if we apply constructor function on declared basic types which are fiction and non-fiction, and to merge these two types we used two constructor function. The first function is a fict and the second constructor function is nfict, which actually represent the non-fiction books, and fict function represents the fiction books. And in order to merge these two functions we use such kind of syntax in Z formal language, and these brackets are known as union brackets, disjoint union brackets. And important thing is that if you apply the range operator on this fict function as well as on nfict function, the intersection of both the range operators would be the phi, there that there would be no book in common for both the functions. Up till now we have learned about the function data type and to declare function variables. Thereafter we discussed about the operators for function type variables. Now by using operators and function variables we can specify predicates about software design, and there are few examples that how can we specify properties and or predicates about any kind of software system. Now let's consider a library management system, and we have already declared a function variable length2 which actually represent books borrowed by persons, and we want to write a predicate to specify that a borrower P of type person can borrow at most 3 books. So this predicate can be specified in that way. As you can see that this predicate restrict a borrower or a person to borrow at most 3 books, and borrower or person appears in a 2 set or range set for this function variable. That's why we will use range restriction operator under function length2, and number of order pairs for person P must not be greater than 3. Or you can also use a range operator to specify that the number of books for person P must be at most 3. Students, as you know, in a university management system, each student contain a unique registration number. Therefore, in a university management system, we can declare registration number as a function variable which has student as a domain set and registration as a range set. For example, we can take any value from domain set as input, which assigns a unique registration number for that input student. Now, in a university management system, we want to specify that a student STD has a valid registration. So, how can we specify that each student or any student STD contain a valid registration number? If a registration number belongs to this registration basic type, then that would be a valid registration for that student. Therefore, for declared function registration number, we apply the relational image operator and pass that student STD as an argument, and it would return a registration number. And if this registration number belongs to this set registration, then it would be a valid registration number. So this whole predicate specifies that a student STD has a valid registration number. Friends, in this lecture, we discussed about different function operators, which include overriding operator, relational image operator, and then we discussed about function application, which include how to express return value after passing an argument to a function, and for that purpose we used mu definite description. Thereafter we used constructor functions in order to build a new type after merging declared basic types, and then in the last of this lecture we learn how to write a predicate by using function variables and operators for the function variables. The contents of this lecture are taken from section number 4.2.5, 4.2.8 and section number 4.2.9, and these sections are in chapter number 4 of the book Software Development with Z. Students, you must read these sections of chapter number 4, and that's all for today's lecture. Allah Hafiz.